Another edition of The Beat where we have all things A&M covered. Welcome to 12th Man Studios. I'm Will Johnson. We begin with Texas A&M track and field, a huge weekend coming up. They are hosting the NCAA Indoor Championships at Gillum Stadium, and we speak with their head coach, Pat Henry, right now. Busy week getting ready, so thanks so much for the time.
Yeah, it really is. Lots of weeks right now, but yeah, we're fortunate and unfortunate at times. You know, you work hard to try to get a championship here, and then once it's here, you kind of wish you didn't have it, where somebody else was worrying about it. But you know, it's good for us. It's good for the community. It's good for everybody.
And truly, for those coming out, you're going to see the elite, including the Aggies.
Yeah, you'll see the best athletes in the country, and this is. You know, you'll take the top 16 men and women per event and get down to an 8-person final. And yeah, this is the best of the best.
And is there the ability to watch records fall, and even particularly with your team, but also at the same time, there's enough pressure in this meet already. I don't think you ask kids to go out and break records each time.
No, records, you know, it comes about as a result of first preparation and being prepared to do your best, but environment helps. Environment is key to being successful in a lot, especially young people. We're dealing with young people and well, our Olympians. You know, the environment has a lot to do with it. So we can help create that environment for our athletes here. We've always had great crowds here. And the NCAA, we had to, you know, last time we had to put signs on the door, we wouldn't let anybody else in the building. So our environment is good here. It gives our young athletes the opportunity to compete at their best.
2 weeks ago, you had the honor of being inducted into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. And when you sit through that night, a banquet that evening, I'm sure there's reflection and thoughts of what got you there. What went through your mind 2 weeks ago as you were bestowed that honor?
Yeah, first, what a great honor to not only represent my family and those associated with our programs over the years. It's about my assistant coaches who have done such a great job over the years. I can't say enough to those people. My wife, my children, you know, this involves everybody, and so it was an emotional time for me. It's a tremendous award. It's a great. I'm proud to represent Texas A&M. And you go back and look at the inductions prior to over the years into the Texas Hall of Fame. I'm honored and privileged to be in that group.
Congratulations to you. Yeah. All the best this weekend in the NCAAs.
Please come out and watch. You'll be surprised.
All right. The best of the best, including the Aggies in College Station, Friday through Sunday, NCAA Indoor Championships. That's Pat Henry. We're back in a moment on The Beat.
The Beat, brought to you by ASCO, your place for case construction equipment in Texas.
Welcome back to 12th Man Studios and The Beat. Texas A&M softball a couple of weekends ago went out to California for the Mary Nutter Classic, a prestigious early season tournament. Can't do much better than the Aggies did. They went 5-0, defeating 4 ranked teams. Even the victory over an unranked foe was big because with it, Jo Evans reached a milestone. The values of sportsmanship and grace were instilled in her at a young age from a close-knit family. Jo Evans' parents, Bill and Bonnie of Salt Lake City, Utah, made sure there were opportunities for their daughter while softball was still in its infancy.
My brother at the time was playing baseball and also coaching a Little League boys team, an 8-year-old team. My brother was 14 at the time. And so he let me play on his team for a game. And I played, I pitched and struck out the side, and the mothers were up in arms, and that was the end of my baseball career. So my one glory day in baseball really was that day I got to pitch in that game that my brother set up. When I was 10, I got the opportunity to play on an organized girls team, and my parents took me to play in the town near our town. And then my parents decided they were gonna organize their own softball league and organization, and I started playing, and I knew immediately that I loved the game, that I wanted to do that, that I was happiest being at the ballpark and playing softball. And I learned very early on, probably even before I got to play softball when I was playing baseball, that I wanted to be at the ballpark on the diamond.
Today, she instills values in her players at the helm of the A&M program. She notched her 800th win as the Aggie head coach on February 23rd with a victory over Long Beach State at the Nutter Classic. The climb to that landmark was incredible. Jo played at the University of Utah and later became head coach at her alma mater. She credits Associate AD Fern Gardner as being her mentor while she was in charge of the Utes program.
It's just an important person in my life, and to be able to have those people who paved the way, who grew the game before me, who went through all the Title IX battles and all of that, to get to work for someone like that and to have her mentor me and actually push me to go to Texas A&M. I mean, I never would have come to Texas A&M if it wasn't for Fern Gardner saying, listen, you have to do this. You have to at least pursue this. So for me, I want to be that person. I want to be somebody who encourages and empowers young women to go and explore and expand your horizons and to do more than you thought you could.
The ASA All-American quickly turned the program into a force. But even after notching that 800th Aggie win, Jo Evans remembers what matters most while coaching.
But I can't think of anything more important than our girls in sport to have a woman to guide them, to be a mentor who's been through what they've been through, who's experienced what they've experienced. And so for me, it's just important that our players understand that there are no bounds, there are no boundaries, there are no barriers. I am a part of creating an atmosphere for young women to take on the world.
This weekend, Coach Evans and the Aggies host Mississippi State, and it starts conference play out at the softball complex. Back in a moment. Welcome back to this edition of The Beat and to 12th Man Studios. In our lounge now to talk a little football, Texas A&M is in the midst of spring practices. They will play the spring game right here at Kyle Field April 8th, 1 p.m. is kickoff. Leading up to spring drills was work with our new strength and conditioning coach, Mark Hockey. He comes to us from Florida State University, and we have him on set right now. Mark, thanks so much for the time joining us here today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
To start it off, I think about a new arrival and a coach is getting to know players, guys that you're going to work hand in hand with for quite a while. What's maybe an early message you wanted to send these players when you got them in the weight room to start it all off?
First things first was sitting down with Coach Sumlin and getting a better idea of what he wanted as far as his vision for the team, because in my role, I kind of have an advantage spending so much time with him year round. So I like to echo his vision, echo his message, and it being a new year, 2017 team, it's exciting because you've got a new team, new identity, new leadership, and so, you know, two things that Coach really stressed was accountability and toughness. So to me, those were the two building blocks that we really focused on when we got started. But you're absolutely right, when you start anew, or a new year, it was all about creating a new standard. You know, culture is a big word. What kind of culture is this team going to have as far as how they compete, as far as how they work? So the first, 7-8 weeks were focused on those very things.
The weight room is really where some leadership can start to bud and develop and take the team into spring ball. Were you able to identify and see leadership firsthand with some guys taking charge in the weight room?
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. I think, when you're an athlete or a competitor, your work ethic speaks volumes about what kind of athlete or competitor you are. And I think the guys that buy into that vision as far as working hard and competing at a different level, there's a natural magnet effect from the rest of the team to be attracted to that sort of work ethic and competitiveness. So we definitely established some leadership on both sides of the ball and across the board.
I think with a lot of strength coaches, you'll hear them mention the word finishing. You got to finish every rep, every set. Well, here at Texas A&M, it's been a difficult finish 3 seasons in a row. November was rough, quite frankly. Is finishing so much a part of your message and what you tell these guys?
Oh, there's no doubt. That's a great point. You know, I think it's difficult for everyone to finish. If you look at it and break it down, that's what's so challenging about this specific sport. It's a long year. It's a long process. So obviously the focus is to start fast, which I think we have done thus far. And then once you set that standard, being able to sustain that type of effort and attention to detail and focus. And then, like you said, being able to finish it. You know, once you get to that point in the season, the Novembers, the December, even late October, it's a different challenge mentally and physically, because by that point you've been grinding for 8-9 months, and it starts to take a toll on you mentally and physically. I'm sure you're familiar with working a 12-hour day. That 10th, 11th, 12th hour, it's tough to be focused and to have the same type of performance as you did when you first got started. But you know, that's the standard that we've already started to set this year, and we plan on finishing everything we do. And what that looks like is finishing each day right, finishing drills a certain way, finishing a lift a certain way, finishing a run a certain way. And then I think you start to develop a mindset and a habit of finishing everything you do.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time again. Good to have you in Aggieland.
Thanks for having me.
April 8th is that spring game right here at Kyle Field. Back in a moment on The Beat.
The Beat, brought to you by Memorial Hermann, official sports medicine partner of Texas A&M Athletics.
Welcome back to the latest edition of The Beat. Texas A&M men's tennis over the weekend. Terrific action. On Friday, they beat Florida. On Sunday, a defeat of South Carolina. All of this on the road. They're back home this weekend, and we have head coach Steve Denton with us right now. And Coach, congratulations again on a terrific weekend. And let's start to look back through it. Friday, Florida win. Like we mentioned, these are away from home. Your keys to beating the Gators.
Well, I mean, it started the week before. You know, we played South Florida and Florida State on the road, and we were behind in both those matches. Probably should have lost both of them, and our guys were very resilient and won those. So going into the match against Florida, our first SEC match, you know, our guys just had to kind of continue. There's been some jokes that maybe we should move to the state of Florida, that we've had some success here. And you know, we started out slow again against Florida, got behind. It didn't look good, and our guys kept battling and fighting and found a way to, you know, kind of get back in that match. We've been struggling with the doubles point a bit, and so we've been behind 1-0 and then getting behind in some of the singles matches. But our guys are doing a good job of problem solving out there and kind of figuring ways to win against their particular opponent, and that's been kind of the mantra of this team the last couple of weeks.
All the way back to the start of the season, we see a lot of 4-3 on your schedule, and you mentioned some slow starts, but obviously some resilience to your team if you're winning these by one match.
Yeah, I mean, it just says that the guys are really working hard and they're believing, and obviously you gain a little momentum and you gain some confidence by winning matches, and they're not panicking when they get behind. They realize that they have an opportunity to come back, and our coaching staff's doing a good job of making some small adjustments here or there in some of these matches, which are helping us to kind of come through in the end. And then when we get ourselves evener in head, we've been doing a good job of closing the door.
Also, as far as bouncing back, you've won 6 in a row now after the East Coast swing here. It was a tough start to the season. Then you go on the win streak, but health has a little bit to do with that too.
Well, it does. One of our players, Hadi Habib, had a broken hand, and he wasn't able to play in the first part of the season, and that kind of scrambled our doubles a bit. And we're still searching, but our doubles is better. We've been focusing on it with him in the lineup, and it gives us a bit more depth in our singles matches. He and our other freshman, Val Vachereau, have both been on a win streak and win a lot of matches at the back of the lineup. Arthur's been playing great. Arthur Renderness, our #1 player, has been beating all these really good players at the top of the lineup. So, you know, there's 2 or 3 singles points you get right there, and now you got to find another one. And Jordi Arcanata has been the hero the last few matches. He's lost the first set in several of his matches, got off to a slow start, and then been able to work his way back in and play really well toward the end of the match.
And now this leads you to some important contests right here in College Station at home at the Mitchell Center. This weekend you host Vanderbilt in Kentucky. Vanderbilt Friday, Kentucky Sunday. March 19th, Sunday, is a date we want to write down because you host #1 Ohio State here. When you think about what's upcoming here at home, is a quicker start on your mind to these matches?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we need to shore up that doubles point and try to get off to a better start in these singles matches. Sometimes that slow start's a bit of a habit. You know, you kind of think that you can kind of come from behind, but some of the teams you play are better front runners, so you run into some problems there. But, you know, our focus is going to be on Vanderbilt. They had a good 4-3 match against Tennessee and won on the road this past weekend. And I know they're much improved. We lost to them 4-3 last year at their place during the regular season. And so, you know, we've got to focus on that. And with this SEC being as strong and everyone being so close to each other, we can't really afford to look ahead. Obviously, we've got some great matches coming up in the next couple of weeks. Nice for our guys to get back home and play here. But you know, this proverbial one match at a time is what we've got to do, and try to hold serve here at home and play well where we have an opportunity of being comfortable and should gain a lot of confidence and momentum from what we've done the last couple of weeks.
Well, job well done on the win streak, and all the best this weekend in College Station.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hope the 12th man will come out and support us, help us out, kind of pull us through a couple of victories there.
It's Friday and Sunday at the Mitchell Center against the Commodores and Wildcats. Back in a moment. Almost time to finish up on the beat, but March has just begun, and that means the madness does too. Texas A&M men's basketball is off to Nashville for the SEC tournament. Their first game at the Bridgestone Arena is 6 o'clock on Thursday night, and they will play essentially the hometown Vanderbilt Commodores. The winner plays on Friday at the same time, 6 p.m., against Florida. Texas A&M men's basketball, the SEC tournament begins this week. We are now out of time on the beat, and we'll see you next week.